I did.
Thank you.
Good, good, wet, but good.
Yeah, we need it all.
Yeah.
Seemed to like it.
Two over there. All of them, Pennsylvania.
The library did.
Oh, forget to do shit, okay. Should've do that. Okay.
Am I reading?
No, we're just doing the thing.
My sign first?
Yes, you're reading.
Yeah.
Okay, Kristen Pat, 442.26. Christine Galandra, 653.90. Mike Reed, 111.44. 486.28. Jeremiah Worcester, 141.29. Stephanie Latsoto, 360.51. Joyce Keeble, 335.95. Rachel Mowbray, 44.30.
A total of $2,575.
I didn't remember his name. I guess I'll be going home before then. I need to figure out over that. God knows how long you're gonna get on the public side.
Must. Checks.
I'm done.
Bills.
There you go. Want me? I can do it. Want me to read this now? Am I reading? George, you ready?
I am.
George Abel, 8/19/77. Eleanor Carey, 9/36/71. Jared Arsenal, 8/33/69. Joe Bird, 9/02/80. Gloria Bacia, 5/12/51. Karen Clement, 9/97/36. Randy Merritt, 7/07/91. Jocelyn Dennehy, 16/75. $2 Swall, 85/55. Jonathan Ellis, 5/72/66. Pamela Frederick, 85/88. Joyce Gallant, 166.23. Ken Gothier, 1,061.25. Andrew Gray, 5/16/69. Andrew Greenbaum, 2/30/76. Kit Kaiser, 4/47/18. Heather Lindsay, 5/75/76. Joyce Miller Boyd. Wayne Robinson, 8/02/58. Christopher Rothwell, 1/34/69. 79, correct. David Roy, 8/50/71. Jeremy Smith, 5/39/96. Kathy Santalea, 5/85/18. Katarina Tennant, 3/75/02. Joshua Turner, 109/36. Brett Wells, 9/52/75. Dennis Weir, 7/01/74. Horace Woods, 12/50/64. Daphne Watts, 5/74/43.
Total of 16,346.62. Total is 18,922.57.
Bill some checks. Let's hear his lovely voice.
Thanks, Bill.
I know, I'm almost done. I'll be ready.
You ready?
I'm ready, I think. Okay.
Alpha.
Alpha, beta.
Asphalt maintenance, 3/7/92. Al's Automotive, 2/31. Business management system, $7,108.85. Boundary Medical LLC, 56/31. Karen Clement, 149.55. CNN Clean, 3,750. Eversource, 1,154.61. Exeter Regional Cooperative School Treasurer. Hold on, I gotta take a breath. 603,317.
Correct.
Glass Pro, 598. Hartman Oil and Propane, 652. Health Trust, 1154. Bruce Keeble, $10. Leaf, 137. LHS Associates, 1332. Mainstay Technologies, 240. Nietzsche Automotive Services, 9846. Schwab Incorporated, 3675. Seacoast Business Machines, 155.75. Sprint, 1050. UniFirst Corporation, 2647. Valak, 127.68. And expected government.
Verizon Wireless.
Verizon Wireless, 4851. WB Mason Company, 21302.
A grand total of $623,257.60.
I better register my cars right away.
14 rec checks.
Just October. Just the month. Just. As they call it, we haven't touched squeeze on it. Which one is that?
I might have heard something over here.
Is that right? We need a rule.
I must have put it in there, I thought I did something. My stuff, I had it here, and then I.
Did you meet last week?
Freight papers.
Yeah.
There you go, hey.
See, David gets sick and he has halls of mental illness and he's confused.
I got a pocket full, I'm all good, yeah. What's it? Try it, John. Go ahead,
I
John.
want full attention from.
I've lost where you are.
You're the new guy I haven't seen for a month and a half.
I was here last week when we had, you were in. I'm winding down.
He's starting early. Must be the retirement thing, he kinda goes like months in advance.
I think Bill took it, but that's right.
So yeah, we took in 46,758, most of the town clerk, a little bit of tax money. And we had to pay the co-op. So I had to move 595 out of our combined reserve. But I think we're still okay, assuming the tax bills go out on time. So that's all I have.
Good deal. Thank you very much. Mr. Kip?
I have a map I get from Andy, I can't find it in the grade. That's the important thing. I don't know when.
Oh, that's not sweet.
I'm gonna have to charge another 6 months.
When? I forget.
Optimize retirement, give him a quarter.
I don't know, when you have to.
Good evening. I'm well. How is everybody this evening?
Good, Kip, how are you feeling? How's your knee surgery?
Survivor.
You're moving, so that's good.
That's right. Okay, we'll start off with 131 Pickpocket Road. And that is Mac Bonifil. And this one is for an addition.
I did that one.
Next, we have
Slightly
17
whiplash.
Wilson Way, River's Edge, and this one is a plumbing permit. Whole house. Next, we have 26 Spruce Ridge Drive. And this one is Madhavi Sagi. And this one, you
Kip,
can,
haven't seen it.
don't trust me, huh?
You can't
This is
pronounce
an-
it, she can't write
An
it.
electrical permit for a, plug-in for electric cars. And then we have 160 Rowell Road, Thomas Nisbet, and this one is for a 16 by 20 Chevy.
Oh, it's 3 pages long.
Did you get to the 6th grade or what?
Yeah, I got to longer than that.
How many times did you repeat the 6th grade?
Anything else? How about the blocks?
Blocks are, I'd say over 50% on site. There's been approximately 5 loads hauled. And
Do you
we're
want next
working
time?
through pricing on the site work. So I'll know more next week.
Cool.
And that's what I have for that. And 374, I've called and requested for a meeting.
Okay. Alright.
And I'll advise you what
Anything on Smith Road? We heard anything about what's going on there? Cause
the,
that's coming up on 30-day.
I have not heard that there's been a response at this point, nothing through me or Kevin.
Okay. Cause we have
Um,
30-day coming up on the 20th.
And the packet did go out to DES,
Okay.
so,
Good deal.
and actually we have a commitment from DES to go on the site walk if needed
Cool.
as well.
Good deal. I appreciate it.
Have a good evening.
Well, take
Thank
care
you.
of your knee, hobble on.
Couple on.
No, wait a minute,
Like the stockings, huh?
Whatever works.
Give Brad those socks. Alright, so we're gonna make, do we have a motion on the meeting minutes?
What was the correction? Can you read what they were? I don't know what the correction
I
was.
think it should just say.
I don't have mine in front of me. Could you read what it was?
Will be appointed. That was
He's not- It says appointed, and he hasn't been appointed yet, so
for 2019.
it's a very, yeah,
On the last.
Oh, here it
on
is,
the
right
last
here.
page, yeah,
So he hasn't been appointed.
right, so that's,
So he would have to be appointed.
Can you read what it says so we know what we're talking about?
It says White House asked for appointment date, Chief Campbell, Chief Archeri, and Wayne Robinson. Chief Campbell is appointed for 3 years, 2021, Chief Archeri, 1 year, 2019, and Robinson was 1
Needs to
year,
be appointed.
2019.
Well, that just, if we
He
change it
hasn't been
easily.
appointed for the longest time, so we'll have to
Okay.
correct
All
that.
right.
So maybe he still needs to be appointed?
He needs to be appointed.
So maybe that's how it should be worded, right?
You-
Still needs to be
But
appointed?
you want it until March of 2019 and then every March redo it?
but the law says back in
Mr. Chairman, can I address the board?
Yeah,
Sure.
A little research done since the last meeting. Town meeting of 1985 voted to change from an elected road agent to an appointed one, and the appointed term is 2 years. And I've got a copy of that
Okay.
meeting notice, and I don't believe there's been any change since then.
Has he ever been appointed?
He was. I have copies of the appointment slips if you'd like.
2001, something like that?
2002 was the last
2002,
one.
yeah.
And it expired in
16 years ago?
2003.
No, it expired in 2002.
Because it's a 2-year appointment.
16-year
It says two.
16-year oversight?
I also took the time to call the one last living selectman that was on the board when they first appointed Wayne, and inquired why the first appointment was only for a year. And they appointed him to finish out someone else's term. And then when they did the reappointment, she thought it was just, I talked to Jane Burns today, and she thought it was just an oversight that they only did 1 year, where the town voted for a 2-year term. And I did look at all the other town reports between that date and forward, and I couldn't find anywhere else where the town had addressed the road agent position.
Oh, well, Doug Collins is still there. So we still got 2 of them. He's still alive.
Well, Doug wasn't on the board that made the appointment. He was the guy that made the motion at town meeting.
Okay. Okay, Doug was there. Because I think he was a board member at one point too, wasn't
He was a selectman, yeah. He was a selectman.
So I could be mistaken, but it would appear that every term should end in an O, or a 2, or an even number.
An even number,
he? So we'd have to appoint him.
2020.
Do it till 20 and then do it again.
So we'll have to get that done pretty quick.
So you have that until March of 2019.
Yeah. So
Do
we're
next
gonna
week till
have to-
20.
we're gonna have to appoint him real quick. Get him appointed for this year. But it looks like they're appointing him every year, huh? Because they had 2001,
Back in-
2002, 2000,
Right, see, so it was done wrong.
99, they were doing them every year.
Where you gonna go to a full-time position on that though? Because in 85 it was still part-time.
Yeah, but they made this.
Because Ken Crowell was the first full-time one, I think, then when he got sick, then he appointed him.
time or?
Alright,
From John, you want to take it?
do you want this back?
Yes.
Did you need sign? Thank you. Appreciate it. Alright, so we'll change those. And do we have a motion on the Oh, do we have a motion on those amendments? Second?
Second?
All in favor? Abstain?
This is the last one.
And how about the
You
non-public?
should have said yes, cause then I would have brought something.
Make a motion on the non-public.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Right.
Is there anything in there that we can hear?
Nope.
On the non-public? No, still non-public.
That's a joke.
And we
Light
sealed them,
up.
we sealed them just for you.
Thank you.
I don't think I did. Didn't this not mine?
You want?
I don't know, I'm lost. I got Andy's last week. I don't know what's going on.
that's my last week
Well,
Yeah.
it's
That's
very
why I
s-
had to.
Yeah.
Why did I have two?
I saw your last week's stuff there.
I'll tell you what, it's very similar to
You want me to
the
go
one
fetch
from
it?
last
No, I
week.
just got the, but I got the check.
Are you ready to retire?
I'm ready to go, I'm ready.
Alright,
From this position.
so Wayne's on vacation, but I'm gonna bring, Chris Beebe. Come on up. How you
Good
doing?
evening. Chris Beebe, Beebe Trucking. Appreciate the opportunity to meet with the board. I'm here for two reasons, to submit my winter sand bid and maybe talk to you about maybe reviewing that process. So, let me start, in August 13th, I called the town to inquire about this year's winter sand. And I spoke to Wayne Robinson, and he advised me that they were probably gonna address this sometime in October because they had the new building going up and there was a space issue. So, I mean, I'm busy, you know, things happen, and then I called last week, I'm like, oh, I better call and just see what's going on. So, the 18th of September I called and I spoke to Mr. Demerit, and he says, yeah, you gotta give me a price, we're working on this, we've gotta get going on this, blah, blah, blah. So make a long story short, I'm like, asked him a couple more questions, you know, how much sand, you know, when do you think you're gonna need it? And, so that led me to call the selectman's office, and I spoke to Karen, I believe, and my conversation with her was based on, I think this process needs to be reviewed because there has to be some sort of layer in there of confidentiality for myself or whoever else might be bidding. And I understand that Karen mentioned something about everything with the town has to be public and transparent. I get that, and I'm all for that. But up until, you know, that's after the process where the board reviews the bids they get and makes a decision on, you know, highest, lowest, in between, whatever the case may be, let the chips fall where they are. So the old-fashioned way of, you know, hey, drop your price off in a bucket of sand in the front seat of the loader like I did last year, doesn't really fly with me anymore. And for the simple fact that here's a copy of last year's bid, okay? I was $11.50. There's a gentleman in Epping that came in at $11.45. My bid was $23,000 for 2,000 ton of winter sand, and he came in at $22,900. This is my business. This is how I pay my taxes and raise my family in this town. So this is very important to me, and I said this year, I said, I'm going after the winter sand, and I'm gonna have a little different approach. Because the last 4 years, I lost this contract. I used to haul this sand for years and years and years. I've done a lot of stuff for the town. The last 4 years, I lost it to the same guy by cents. I'm not talking dollars, I'm talking cents, okay? So I've kinda had enough of it, and I said, I'm gonna do this a different way. So here's my bid, and I think respectfully, when the selectmen's board gets everybody's bids, they can all open them and let the chips fall where they may. Now, you guys were talking baseball earlier, I'm a big baseball guy. If you know I'm throwing a curveball, what do you think's gonna happen? right? You're hitting it out of the park, not 1 year, 4 years in a row, okay? So I'm good. I'm throwing heat inside this time.
I was not bored then, so I had nothing.
No,
to
but
do.
you know what I'm saying? I'm not throwing a curve this time. I'm coming with a fastball in. Right? That's
a good
But
analogy.
and I'm not here to, you know, point fingers. I'm just looking for a little respect
Yeah.
for you guys to handle it, so people in the town say, hey, wait a minute, you know.
See, my thought is if, for 50 cents, it should be the person in town, because they pay tax.
50 cents, you're talking
Well,
a nickel last
well,
year.
I wasn't
Phil.
here last
Yeah.
year, okay?
A nickel. That's $100
Yes,
So-
on $23,000.
So what you're asking us to do, and I understand that you want us to take the bids from whoever gives us a bid confidentially before we make a decision.
You want
So that
sealed.
someone else can't.
No, it doesn't have to be sealed.
So that someone else can't then say, oh, well, he's bidding $11.50, I'm gonna bid $11.45.
Right, because it's like, why play poker? Just turn your cards all over, right? So,
That
so,
makes sense.
so not only that, you know, it doesn't hurt to say, hey, this is when we need the sand price spot. Because I'm telling you right now, if I didn't call last week, where am I? I'm out of luck.
Yeah, you would.
And this is what, I've been doing this 21 years, I know the game. I'm playing with $1 million companies, you know, backyard guys, and every one of them's important to me, right? Whether it's $100 grand or $1,000 job.
Right.
I do what I say on time, and I just try to, you know, have a certain amount of integrity. So, that's all I'm asking.
we don't post on the webpage that if we need bids for sand.
We haven't gone through the formal process the last few years. Not
We-
since I've been here.
Wayne's always just submitted prices to the board
It says who you wanna go with.
in his recommendation.
Right, and you know, but there's a lot of other people down there besides Wayne. So,
Well, you got Wayne,
there's gotta be,
Wayne, and Jeremy.
there's gotta be a process, you know what I'm saying? So, I gotta have some sort of protection for my business, and I'm sure that when you did the solar thing at the firehouse and all these other things, I can guarantee you that if there was a carpenter in town, he lost that job by $1,000 on a $1 million job, he wouldn't have been happy. Especially if he had any inclination that the same builder keeps beating him out 3-4 years in a row, and he used to do all the building, you know. So I'm trying to be forthright and say, you know, it needs to just be looked at and put something out there like, hey, so it's fair, you know. 3-4 different companies wanna bid on it, it is what it is. But everybody's gotta get their price in by, you know, date X of such and such a year.
Yeah, cause I know they need it for their budgeting, so.
Right.
No, yeah, well, that makes sense to me. I'm not quite sure how we did it willy-nilly, but you're right, it needs to be done.
Cause honestly, I know,
Board
Wayne's
needs to be
busy,
done.
I'm busy,
Yeah, I understand
everybody's
that.
busy.
And, you know, we had the issues with the salt and sand shed this year, but you're right, that we need to have something that goes out there and says, by this date, we need your bids on salt and
Right.
sand.
And then if you guys had them all in an envelope,
Yep.
hey, there's so-and-so's, you get, whether you get 1 or 10, it doesn't matter. Then it's transparent to the town, it's
Yep.
transparent to you, and it's transparent to everybody that put an envelope in. Because I don't wanna keep losing it, I take a lot of pride in,
And for that
for
amount of money,
$100.
it's-
Yeah.
no, well, yeah, that's kind of a slap in the
Yeah,
face,
that's.
you know?
No,
So,
you're right.
I take a lot of pride in having a competitive price and not doing it, you know, so low that it's not even worth it. It's not an easy business, trust me, so.
I bet it isn't.
Cool, well, I appreciate you bringing that in.
So what do we
You
have
mind
to
if we
do to
open
change
it?
No, you can,
Cause the other two,
Oh, I can't remember what the other two numbers were.
I do, they were in the minute, they should have been.
They were down, so we're, you know, I have those.
Was that from last week?
Yeah, they're in the minutes.
We'll have to look at those. Okay, let's see this.
They're in the minutes.
I thought that was 2 weeks ago.
Last week.
2 weeks ago, or
11:35. What do we have?
11.50 and 18.60.
Well, look at that.
Yeah.
You're the lowest bid.
You were not
every squirrel gets a nut, as long as I'm not the one hiding in the street.
22
Yeah,
cents.
no, that's,
What was your bid? 11.35?
11:35 per ton.
I'm just writing it down.
So we have 11:50. What's the other one? And then one was just 1860.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll take that one if you want.
1860 then?
It'd be nice,
Some
wouldn't it?
fluff in there.
Alright, well, that's good enough. We gotta wait for Wayne probably to get back, so we'll talk to him, or what do you guys want to do?
I don't think.
Yeah, so
Why
that-
do we-
I don't think we need to wait,
Why-
just
why
make
do
a
we have to
motion to
wait
go
for
with
Wayne?
it.
Sand is sand,
We're
isn't
the-
it?
we're
Sand
the-
is sand, and,
He
They're the
usually
ones
makes the
that run the
recommendation, so.
yeah.
Cause I don't know the,
We're supposed to be running.
So that's what we just took the bids in, we didn't do anything with it, right?
Last year he took the two and then he gave you his recommendation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You bid last, was you, was it, who was it last year?
It was
Chris and-
Gresham,
Roger and Nick,
I
Chris?
believe so.
No, was it, no, last year?
I think we were the only two bidders last
Yeah.
year, according to my records, yeah.
John Green,
Tom Green,
he
who was that?
does landscape depot, I think.
yeah, Landscapers Depot.
Depot and everything, so
Oh, all right, yeah.
he doesn't want for that price.
So how do we change it to get it posted so people know to bid?
We can do that for next year. And you already have your pricing now. So
Right,
next year
right.
you have to advertise in the
Right, but
paper.
that's what I'm asking, how do you change it going
Would
forward?
that be in the newsletter, you think?
We put it in the Carriagetown News on the website, Facebook.
Can you put on the local
So
paper, on
would we-
the Brentwood newsletter too?
We can if
It's
the timing.
just timing. So we would put it in Carriagetown, our website, on Facebook. and
Why can't you
just
put it in the Brentwood
establish
newsletter?
a date. If
Well, it
we
depends
we
on the
would.
timing.
Yeah, if it's on our website, that would
Yeah,
probably
you
be
put
easier
on
for
the
me than
website, yeah.
shuffling through every week's paper, like.
Yeah, I think we, cause then you could always post
Should
it
be around October
for,
anyways, alright?
have it for September 15th.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah,
Right,
not
the
October, I would say
July-
September.
July, August, once together, September.
So she always have the bids by September 15th.
That's what we do.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, cause, you know, a couple of years ago it snowed.
The July, August.
Well, the
If
challenge,
you get it out after Labor Day, it's not enough time.
The challenge for you is to know when it has to be.
Alright.
yeah, the challenge comes down to, you know, supply, obviously fuel prices, right? So,
Yeah, the September time frame should work.
yeah, there's a lot of different things you gotta try to figure out.
Well, everybody will be on the same page.
So is that something I wait for Wayne to get in touch with me, or is it?
Yeah, so, I mean, unless the board wants to.
Well, they can't haul it in now anyways, cause they're gonna be
Yeah,
first to put it, right?
for them to put stuff, but as far as we gotta figure out, do we go before Wayne and have him make the recommendations, or you guys wanna make a motion now, what's the board's flavor?
No, can't we just make a decision? All Wayne's done is bring us prices and we're making the decision
Okay.
as to which one to go with. I would say that we would.
So we have a motion?
Wayne usually comes to us with a quality of sand,
Yeah.
whether he's had
Good
issues
looks.
Little bags.
whether he's had
So-
issues with.
So do you wanna wait till next week when Wayne's back?
Sure. I'm putting it out there, what's the board want to
Yeah, I
do?
mean, that's,
I'm okay either way, but I think for sure.
so we should make a difference, shouldn't we?
No,
If we still can't truck it in anyway, then it's.
So we'll make a decision next week.
That's fine.
So because Wayne's not here, if he was here, I could say, alright, did you look at the grade of the sand and what's your thoughts? And we can kinda go from there. So we'll make a decision.
So is Wayne gonna be here next week?
Yeah.
Okay, so he wants, probably wants me to bring in some sand.
I would assume so, or did you already give him a bucket?
No, I didn't,
Baggy full of us. Don't need a big bucket full.
Just give him a baggie, yeah, give him a little sandwich baggie of your sand.
Do you have an idea when they think they're gonna be ready over there? Is that something he's communicated to you?
I could touch base with Kip, we just got the blocks delivered, the buildings are coming in, and they still gotta do the site prep, so I'm assuming if everything goes according to plan, hopefully the middle to the end of November is when we would be looking at probably being able to get, because right now, we don't know where to get it, so it's just gonna be out in the open, so.
Let me see if we have that.
Sand,
So how do we,
Yeah.
I mean, today's the 25th, so how do we approach, you know, say a spike in fuel, is that, you know, you're talking a month and a half away, you know?
It depends, and that's one thing I would have to touch base with Wayne on. When you guys take it, where are you gonna put it? Do you have somewhere to put it now? Can you take the delivery? Or is the site prep for
Right.
you guys having to prep this area for this new salt and sand shed?
Well, I know he's gonna shelter probably the salt, and
Right.
sand and salt mix, but I don't know in the past, David, he hasn't
Either pile,
sheltered,
no, usually.
he hasn't sheltered the winter
As long
sand.
as it's not gonna be in the way where.
It's gonna be a
they're
big one,
moving
it's
it.
gonna be what, 40 by 60 though, right? Plenty of room in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Doesn't I do it?
You know, right now, it's
230.
gonna be triple
I
the
mean,
size what
we-
they had.
we
So if
could-
he can deliver it,
We could address it next week, cause it might be something like it's one load a day, and it might be non-intrusive to what they're doing
How long
all
does it
day.
take you to bring it in if you start bringing it in?
Well, I mean, that's 50-something loads,
50 loads,
so
yeah.
it's not something I wanna wait till fuel's
Right,
360
right,
a gallon,
yeah.
I'd rather get rolling, you
Right.
know?
so if he tells us next week that he is fine with the grade of sand and that he has somewhere to put it, and it's not gonna be in the way of them doing site prep for this new building going up, and if it can be out in the open, then I don't think
Right.
we can make that call next week, and then you can start
Yeah, we
delivering
could-
them right away.
We could discuss that next week, cause I might be able to just zip a couple in the morning and then stay out everybody's way
Yeah.
for the rest of the day type of thing, and.
Yeah, cause they got 50% of the blocks over there now, so
Yeah.
I would assume by next week they'll have 100% of the blocks. And then they're gonna be doing site prep and putting these things where they need to be.
Yeah. Alright,
So we'll have to
Yeah.
play it by ear for next week, but I would assume probably we'll address it right around the same time next week, so probably 6:30 next week, we'll
alright,
have a pretty good idea of what's going on.
okay.
So
Alright.
if you can't make it, you can always hit Butch up for a video, you'll know exactly what happened, cause they'll post it at night.
I'll leave
Every
a
week.
bag of sand.
To hold the tripod there. Good deal, I appreciate it, thank you.
Alright, thank you so much.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Is that your phone or is that yours?
Yeah, I got mine.
Oh, I'll make sure it was his.
Oh, it's mine.
Good to see you.
I have a new one.
I thought that was it.
Oh, no, that's
My
mine.
paper.
That's
Tracy
mine.
and, come on up.
That happened,
Yes.
that happened to me last.
Where did it go? It was right here with a check. Everything left but this is a check. I can't follow it, right?
It must be.
Here.
You can take my paper.
You're,
I can't
you're
follow.
retiring, just give me the check.
You can do it along the way.
Like that.
So you're here to tell
Give me
us
the check, I'll take care of it.
paint is
Yep, so done, yep.
and all the backside for the amphitheater stuff. Wow, you guys work fast. When did it get done for the
In
rain?
the rain, yeah. You know, I have somebody else on it there, but it doesn't happen to mine last.
We got about a green towel for that one.
I'll cry later. I think Bill did. I think that's my phone.
Okay, I'm gonna gavel him. And go. What can we do for you?
Go ahead.
So we would like to revisit the painting in the amphitheater.
Okay.
I know that you said that you were believed in doing a side a year.
And spacing it out.
So upon further inspection, the library looks pretty bad all the way around. And we thought this year that perhaps we could do the whole thing and then each year put a little bit of money aside. Like we were painting just one side and then have it all painted at when we did it.
So it's not looking like we're piecing together.
When was the last time it was painted? Because we were doing it every year.
It's been piecemeal, and it's been a couple of years, I think.
I think so.
I was not on the board
If you look at
until,
it, the two major sides are actually the paint is peeling out.
Yeah, just by the, yeah, going in, it's all peeling, you know.
And then there's,
Was it 16,000 the whole thing?
yeah, just.
And what did we have? We didn't have enough money for this year to cover it.
You could take it out of capital reserve and then replenish the fund in March. And then just continue to bank that same amount.
Can we get it done before now?
I'm gonna talk to him, he's already gotten me all the paperwork, which I gave him to Karen, and, he's looking to get started.
So did you have more than one bid, or was it just one?
We just had the one,
we attempted
we
others.
attempted others. Couldn't get anybody to come out and look at
And what did we approve last week?
it. The one side, it was just.
1.5
over
side, I
6,000.
think it
That was 6,000.
It's about 6,000.
That's the trustees actually do the approval anyways, right? The library trustees do the approval.
Yes.
So we just
but-
give you the
but-
money. You know, so, the bids are you, I mean, you guys bring us the one you want to do, and we just, cause you do all the bid stuff, we don't have to touch that. You got your one vendor you want,
But in good terms, we did try to get, we tried to get several.
yeah, no, I'm sorry, but you guys, you get your trustees, that's what you got, you bring
So we
that.
gotta confirm, Karen's still gotta look
I
at
gotta
what
wait
the
till
fund
he
balance
comes
is.
back about the fund balance, but it's still like that's, I'll check this.
And I guess, so give us till next week to look what the fund balance is, and if you could find out from the painter when he would be looking to start, would he be doing it this year? Or is now
He was
the time?
definitely looking to do it, like, this fall.
It just
At
depends
least on
if the
one
temperature
side.
will be conducive for it.
That's what he said.
Because I could put it on there, and it's as cold as it was today. Anything under 50, forget it. It's a waste of your time. You're
Yeah.
throwing your money away. Throwing our money away.
We won't do that. But yeah, no, he was.
You're
looking
next,
to-
Bill.
You got 5 minutes for me to running, I'm out in the ambulance right now.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, okay. Thank you. So, still looking to fund balance for next week?
Yeah, I'm
And then we
leaving
can
anyway.
just find out from him when he's looking to try to fit this.
Even though the game's not on,
October.
NCIS is on,
Gone.
and FBI,
Take him.
and
When can he
NCIS
start?
New Orleans.
When would he finish?
That's Scarborough, right?
Yeah.
They did my house, they had like 7 guys come in 2 days.
So he said, they have a big team, and they were gonna do the one side in the fall, and then next year, if we could do it, he could at least do what he could in the fall, and finish up in the spring, necessary, but with the hope that he could do it all in the fall. And he's been extremely responsive, like every time I've asked for anything, I have it the next day.
Is Regan ambulance back and coming back?
I think so. They had a call.
All right, so why don't we plan on revisiting it next week and we'll see
Okay,
what we.
so the other issue is the amphitheater,
Okay.
and why don't you explain what you told me about the amphitheater?
Oh, well, Karen and I were talking about the amphitheater, and the funds being from the,
So I talked to Glenn and they wanted to do repairs on the amphitheater, and if they replace everything in kind with wood, then they would have to either encumber funds or do a warrant article. If they upgrade the amphitheater and do like a Trex decking or something that's better quality, then that would be a capital improvement and they could use impact fees.
The only issue with Trex decking that I will warn you about is it's slippery and it's very hot.
the stuff he was looking to use, I've had somebody come out already, I've got, 2 bids coming in, and I'm looking for a third one. But the one guy that came out on 2 days ago, the Trex he's looking at has very deep graining in it, so there's less slippery. He was concerned about the heat, but if we went with like gray, he thought it wouldn't be quite so bad. The driver cars are
I
worse.
did that and
Still.
it's hot.
They could get pads or something. maybe
I
it's
actually
nice
love
to do.
going to my lower deck now, which is wood. I learned,
Yeah.
especially barefoot.
He
Hot
might
foot.
be able to do some padding or something, but,
Yeah, so, and how much was that quote?
I haven't gotten it yet. He's working on it.
That's a next year's project though, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's not for this
Yeah,
year.
alright, so, yeah, I mean, something to think about. My only concern is the heat, and it does warp. Plastic does warp, so the hotter it gets, it doesn't hold its shape. It expands, does different things. Wood does too, but the wood tends to, the downside with wood is it rots. Downside with plastic is it ripples. So it's not uncommon to look at a plastic deck after 2 or 3 years and you see it going like this, which also gives you a liability concern for warping and tripping and safety hazards.
Which is
You're
what
open
we're
to the
facing
commercial.
right now,
Right.
with wood, cause the wood is,
You look
It's rotting
it's all
away.
like seats though anyways, right? It's all like seats going on.
seats, yeah.
But it's rotting, right?
It's almost
Yeah,
like
it is, yeah, it's bad.
It's really, yeah, there's some spots that are like open holes, it's bad.
So,
We do have an awning, but it doesn't come out over the seating.
yeah, it would be my only concern with the trucks. And I don't know if they have anything else out there that potentially we could do something different.
He had mentioned yellow cedar, I think is what he said, was another option. So I asked him to quote it out a couple different ways to see what,
Yeah, I'd like to see what they come in with.
yeah.
If it's a different kind of wood, is it not an improvement? It's
I don't
just-
think it's a great enough that, you know, crazy.
Well, mahogany's hardwood, but that's very expensive. I did that on my last house. And then I was very upset because they tore down the deck to do an addition. So I did this myself. So, alright. Well, yeah, I mean, thank you. Yeah, I would like to see the quotes from different species of wood too.
Yeah, we'll bring that to you in November.
Okay.
I gave him also, told him that we're getting in November.
Okay.
We'll do it by then.
Good
And I'm
deal.
still waiting on the third person, so. very much.
Thank you, Wayne.
And we'll have to come back to Bill since he's not here.
Do the notes.
We'll do the notes, and then we'll come to non-public at some point. Or we're gonna go to non-public and go through.
That's why for Josh Turner, I didn't want to kneel when they're signing since we shouldn't do that.
Take care, Daphne.
This is a notice of intent to cut for Jameson property on South Road. He started to cut last year, he's just,
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Only have one eye.
Aye.
Bill, you alive?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about that. Yeah.
Hey, Bill, we'll hold out for a no or a yay. You can say no.
You had
There's
harassment
not much
training
we can
today.
do, right, about cutting if they want their property, they wanna cut it.
Right.
So we get our money back from it.
$200.
And I'm gonna bring it up because we talked about last week about the, putting a letter of rebuttal into the file, and just so the board's aware, I touched base with the chief and I touched base with Bill. He can go ahead and put the rebuttal in there, and that's what we'll do.
Yep.
So that's that. And we're waiting for Bill to get back, and we've signed documents, prepared documents.
This is it.
Anything from the public?
We haven't finished the note section.
Oh, what do we got in notes?
She was
Oh.
trying, but you just.
Sorry, I'm just
Right,
flying.
right, right, right.
And Bill's back. Yay! Alright, so you had harassment training.
Yes, second session will be 7:29 at the fire station. We had about 20 people today, so there's some, a couple more full-time and the part-time officers will attend that session there.
And that's not something we needed to attend, is it?
That's up to you if you want to attend. I put all of the memos in here, and we made it mandatory for all full-time and part-time employees as a refresher. We should do it every other year.
That's something I'm like, I knew, I saw that we were gonna do it, I just didn't know when, so that's something that we probably ought to, as a group, we probably ought to be aware of what's going on, so we probably ought to be attending.
Well, and if you wanted to have another session and kind of in here for the board, they could do that, and then they could kind of focus more on sort of the enforcement side of things, and if you get a plan how the board should,
That would be a good idea. I think that would be something for us to do.
they could outline the steps better to, what the policy is and what we should be doing.
Maybe after budget season, then.
Have nothing to do?
Or less to do.
All
right?
less to do, okay.
So it wouldn't be helpful for us to go to the next session, right?
That's up to you. I mean, they'll familiarize with the policy. They went over state and federal law, the difference between what is federal law, what's the state level. They give a couple of examples of claims that they've had.
Won't hurt anything.
That's true. They went over third-party harassment. So you could say something like make a joke to somebody else that they don't, and somebody else would just overhear you and be offended.
I just think the
I'm not PC, so I don't really.
I think we should
If
know.
they're offended, they're offended. I'm sorry, they're offended about being offended, but I'm offended that they're offended about
But
being
we
offended.
should know
That's my thought.
what the parameters are, we're in a position now, we should know.
People are terrible.
I'm not easily offended.
Is that my?
Clearly.
Everybody.
Alright, waiver for the culvert on North Road.
Yes.
We all read that in the notes. I'm
It's
fine.
flooding.
I'll take a motion if somebody wants to make that motion to do the waiver.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
So the motion then is for Bob to respond to his email because that's what he wants to see in writing.
Yes.
Yes.
Sure.
Let's get that new culvert in.
And they're gonna start digging and blasting Prescott Road tomorrow.
Does the school know already?
Yes, Wayne was actually good. He called me today and said he updated me, and then he asked me to call the school, which I did, and then he called me back to make sure that I remembered to call the school.
So they don't have to use that road tomorrow?
Yes.
For the
And
rest of the week,
It's after
right?
9.
After 9, so the morning they can come down, at the afternoon afternoon bus run, the road will be closed.
You'll be closed from Scrabble Road to North Road.
Yeah,
And
so
they
I
are
told
gonna
him-
have seismic testing there because they have to monitor any movement around the water tower and any of the surrounding areas, so the water tower is a big concern, cause of course, if you
Well,
get a
that'd
big
be
huge wave,
trouble.
that thing could come down.
That would not be
There's
good.
6 stops on that end of the road, so Dwayne said they
Yeah,
could
wait
go
till
up
the
as
name
far as to
washes out.
Shambles. And then the only other house is Teddy Field's
Yeah.
house, so I relayed that to Tricia so she could work that out with that family.
Police, fire, and county now,
The blessing?
that the road's closed.
I don't know.
Yeah,
You want me to call the
maybe we should tell them. They should-
Let's notify a dispatcher.
Probably you should,
I do now.
They do now.
Get
Fire knows it.
Pass it along.
we probably should pass that along in the morning.
Or tonight, thanks.
So the neighbors don't know they're gonna start blasting, it's like Bill won't know till he gets woke up with a blast.
They're gonna start digging, and then I don't know when they're gonna start the blasting.
See,
They said
number
it'll be
6
the next
houses should have known around there what's going on.
You have a question, Chairman?
I have a question.
Any idea how long this phase will last?
They said it should be 3-4 days.
3-4 days,
maybe
okay.
a week.
Till the hill's gone.
Yeah.
Or the water tower.
Oh, the water tower.
No, we just.
We're gonna need that culvert fixed quicker, that tower goes down.
Good thing we'll send an email tonight for the waiver.
Daphne's pretty good using Facebook, maybe she can post some stuff
About that? Yeah.
about the road being closed and some blasting beginning.
Okay. Full-time firefighter interviews are starting on Thursday?
Yes.
So we got.
Yes.
Right.
And do we have any public?
Good
Do
meeting.
you have
I see
anything good?
Ken has
We're trying to get it done for the game.
a big thing, so I know what he
The
is.
game's been
Yes, it
canceled.
Game's been
I heard that.
I
canceled.
do have a question.
Sure.
Yep.
Has there been any movement on, first, the sound system for here? Because,
I still can't hear you. No.
exactly, you can't, I'm not talking loud enough. The second question, so no movement on any sound system? Nobody's
No, I
looking
think
into
what
it?
we'll have to do is, at some point, we gotta, that's gonna have to be put into a budget or
Okay.
something like that.
I thought there was gonna be a meeting with the, didn't you ask last week for the,
I asked Peter Foster and Bob Gulak if they wanted to come up with an update, but they said they didn't have any new information.
any new
They haven't
information?
connected with Rick Murphy yet on the grant process.
So these are just screens that
There's
look pretty?
nothing behind them.
There's nothing there? Okay.
They're just holes.
They just look pretty,
They do look pretty, yeah.
and they're actually been there so long, they're turning yellow,
Yes, they are.
like
And
smoke
we did
detectors.
ask the camera vendor if they could put in a microphone here like they would use in the interrogation room, and he said this is not that's not the proper equipment for what we wanna do.
Okay. Second question was any movement on the bids for the construction at the Historical Society, the Grange building?
Still historical.
Is it still old?
Last week you said it was okay to move forward with Peter Goodrich's.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I'm looking to see
Okay.
who's there.
So yes.
What, the historical society?
Yeah.
I think we
with
were gonna
Peter
do
Goodrich's
the
price, 'cause Kim met
fireboard.
with him.
Right, on Sunday,
Yeah.
last Sunday, right, he was gonna meet with them?
Yeah, he met with him and then Rex Swayze went over there and then decided he wasn't gonna be able to bid on it.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Anything else?
Before we go to non-public, does Phyllis or anybody have something that they wanna talk about? I just saw that you had,
Oh, what?
I didn't know if these were something you were talking about or.
No, those are for,
Non-public.
I don't know if this is appropriate, Matt, I'm going away tomorrow, I'm trying to get back for the meeting on Tuesday, but I know that that's it.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope to be back.
And we're gonna go.
One last question.
Sure.
If you're going into non-public, I noticed on the agenda is for hiring positions. Are we allowed to know which positions are for hiring?
The fire chief is here.
Okay. Is that the only position that's non-public?
Well, we're gonna be talking about hiring and some other stuff that has to do with personnel.
Well, you can send us a note later about it.
Sure, I'll put it in the email that I'm gonna do with the waiver for consultant.
Okay, I don't quite understand that, but I'll take it.
We're waiving the culvert concerns.
Where's it going?
I have to be home by
On North Road, she's gotta go. I'm gonna make a motion that we go into, non-public under the 91A.
Good luck, Chief.
I have-
Motion. So second.
And then all in favor? favor?
Careful.
Roll call?
It's wet.
Aye.
So careful, it's
Aye,
wet.
aye.
It's gonna be snow